On November 12th, the second trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog was released. You may recall that the first trailer was met with backlash, the likes of which the internet has not seen since the trailer for Paul Feig's Ghostbusters remake. And it was the design of Sonic himself which had everyone freaked out. The backlash was so loud and so severe that the studio actually heard. More than that, they listened. They promised they would change the design and even push the movie back in order to accomplish this. With Trailer 2, the new design for Sonic was revealed to the world. In this editorial, I will first discuss whether or not caving into fan pressure like that was the right move, before exploring the new problem doing so has introduced. Then I'll share how excited I am for the movie itself, now that the new design has been revealed. Before that though, as much as I hate to bore you with the trials and tribulations of running a YouTube channel, I must ask you to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure to indicate that you want notifications on all videos. What is more, this video will by necessity have a bunch of cutesy Sonic images, which means that in the future, bots working under Coppa directive may decide that it is targeted at children, and therefore strike it down. That is why in between the cutesy child-friendly hedgehog images, there will be some decidedly not child-friendly imagery. It'll be subtle, you may not even notice, but if you are a child and you stumbled into this video from Peppa Pig or Paw Patrol or something, then leave right now. This isn't for your eyes. With that out of the way, let's dive in.
Okay, cocksucker.
Before we begin with the new design, let's address the previous design. In its favor, I will say it was recognizably Sonic the Hedgehog. But in saying that, I've ran out of favorable things to say. It was the manifestation of Uncanny Valley, in that the traits were human-looking enough on an animal to be disturbing. Yet at the same time, they were far enough removed from Sonic to be disturbing for that as well, what with those teeth and all. Add that up, and you get something really disturbing. Hence the backlash, which the studio, to their credit, listened to. There are some who would rather they had not, that they had stuck to their guns and stood by their vision, and there certainly is a case to be made for that. However, I am of the opinion that there are times when the filmmakers need to realize they've gone too far and have to dial it back a notch. And other times, they need to stick to their guns. But when to do what? I have some thoughts on that. On both Terminator Salvation and I Am Legend, they changed the twist endings due to backlash from fans online and test screening results respectively. In so doing, however, they undermined everything those movies had built towards. Namely, Marcus taking on the identity of John Connor and Will Smith being the real monster. And without those twist endings to provide meaning and the conclusion to the subtext. Both of those movies were kind of rendered a bit pointless. In those cases, the studio caved when they should not have, and they ruined their movies for it. To be clear, the studio sticking to their guns might not have made those movies better received upon release, but if they had, the movies themselves at the very least would have been internally consistent. And just for that, they might have been held in higher regard than they are right now. In the case of Sonic the Hedgehog, however, I really don't think his design is crucially linked to either the movie story or subtext at all. On the contrary, I think the director had dozens of different designs available to pick and choose from, and he simply chose the wrong one. Consider Predator, the original starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. The original Predator creature design was some ridiculous space dog looking kind of thing, portrayed on set by a malcontent Jean-Claude Van Damme. In that case, the producers didn't even need to wait for any trailer feedback to learn that they messed up. That was blatantly clear from the dailies. So, on suggestion from Arnold himself, they hired Stan Winston to design and make them a new Predator, and the result became an action classic. That, I think, is the closest comparison to what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog. The design they originally went for turned out to be the wrong one. They changed it after the fact, and everything turned out better for it. So kudos to the filmmakers, you listened. I genuinely respect that, and I appreciate the additional delay, work and cost that went into addressing the issue. I sincerely hope you will be rewarded for doing so at the box office. However, in changing the design, a new, derivative problem was created. However much they changed Sonic's appearance, my guess is that's all they changed. Everything else is exactly as it was. And in my opinion, that might have been a mistake. Hear me out. Sonic is voiced by Ben Schwartz, and while the initial design had issues, the voice Schwartz went with was, in my opinion, perfect for that design. Because with his initial design, Sonic both looked and sounded a bit shy and awkward, a bit misplaced. The newly redesigned Sonic, however, looks just like the original Sega mascot. He looks confident, he looks cocky, he looks like he has an attitude. He looks great, but when he opens his mouth, he still sounds like that shy and awkward Sonic impersonator from the previous trailer. That voice was right then, as it fit with the face and the mannerisms, but with the new design, the voice no longer fits. I mean no disrespect to Ben Schwartz, he was right for the initial design, but with the new one, he either needs to redo all his lines but with attitude, or they have to find someone else. As it is right now, I think the voice is an issue, and a big one. But outside of that, what do I think of this trailer, and do I want to see the movie? Ignoring for a moment how Sonic sounds, I have a huge issue with the whole fish out of water concept. We saw his planet, and it looked fantastic. Why couldn't the whole movie be set there? My god, can you imagine seeing Marble Zone, or Hydro City Zone, or my personal favorite, Aquatic Ruin Zone, in glorious live action? That would have been something. So why the hell take him away from there and put him in our world? I don't care that he happens to land someplace stateside that happens to be called Green Hill. I don't want to see him in our world, period. Well, maybe like in the third or fourth movie to change things up, but why so soon? Didn't they learn anything from the Smurfs? Or Masters of the Universe for that matter? Where poor Skeletor paraded in front of nobody in Dumpwater, Florida? So in short, Sonic looks great. He sounds way off. I hate that he is in our world. And on top of that, the friendship between him and James Marsden does nothing for me. But you know what does? Jim Carrey. He looks amazing here. His performance looks glorious. He made the entire first trailer, and he makes this one. He hammed it up so good that I want to see this movie for Dr. Robotnik. I hope his role is huge, and that the surrounding movie isn't too bad either. Because of Jim Carrey, Sonic's new design, and the shots we see of Sonic's home planet, the movie actually looks kind of entertaining to me. I hope it will be, and I hope it will be successful. I hope it will inspire Hollywood to make more feature adaptations of other Sega properties as well. No, not Flicky or Alex Kidd, but the Sega properties that would actually lend themselves to feature film. First among them is Golden Axe. I'd love a Golden Axe film franchise, but there is potential in others too, like Shinobi, E-SWAT, and even Vector Man and Earthworm Jim. Hell, some amazing imagery could be made out of Kid Chameleon. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see how this pans out first. Although a Sonic movie really should have been the last of Sega adaptations. Let me know your thoughts on the redesign and everything else Sonic in the comments.